Welcome, everyone, to the MedSpa Accelerator podcast brought to you by Everbo Marketing, the go-to resource so you can get the latest hacks and best practices so that you can market and grow a profitable medical aesthetics practice. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the MedSpa Accelerator. I'm Luis Trevino, and I'm joined with our co-host, Maripili Menchaca.
Hey.
And together we are the co-owners and co-founders of Everbo MedSpa Marketing.
Yes.
And we're super pumped to be excited here today with you guys, bringing you another episode. Today we're going to be talking about how you should be marketing your med spa during the shutdown.
I know. Oh, how did we hear it the other day being said? It is the like it's the Great Depression, the Great Lockdown.
The Great Lockdown.
The Great Lockdown. We're
Yes.
making history right now.
We're making history, guys. And it's so insane. Now, some of you might be shocked with this title, because I know a lot of people out there are kind of in this mindset where, well, you shouldn't be marketing or you shouldn't be trying to sell anything or just different things like that. Honestly, guys, we do not disagree with that. I mean, we do not agree with that. Sorry.
What? I was gonna say, just do whatever feels best for you and your business.
Yeah.
However, we might change your mind here. With some extra, just thinking about it in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that, and we've kind of talked about this in some of our, in our previous episodes, different things like that. Like right now, it is a really good opportunity for us to be marketing just because of some of the things that have happened. Like, since less people are marketing right now, it's opened up, it's less competitive, so it's just a lot more affordable to be advertising, right? So you could really capitalize on that. And a lot of people are just at home on their phones. So now more than ever are actually people. Now more than ever, your audience is bigger, right? And so...
And actually, have you noticed less ads on your feed or more? Or have you noticed
I've just noticed different ads.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, just like different ads. Because obviously it's like, again, we talked about this before, right? But basically it's like there is a problem, and now all of a sudden came out these people trying to offer a solution to that problem. They started to create all of this relevant content associated to that problem, right?
Right. And all of these businesses trying to, of course, adapt to these times.
Yeah, 100%. And this is something that we've been kind of, preaching for during this time, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's like, we need to be innovating and adapting. We can't just, we said in the other episodes, this is not a vacation, guys. This is perfect time. In our previous episode of embracing the downtime, right? Mm-hmm. Talked about that. This is not a vacation. This is a perfect time for you to focus on growing your business and working on the business instead of in it. You don't have to focus on the day-to-day right now, but you can really focus on the things that really matter, so that when you do open your doors again, you can hit the ground running.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And you solved a lot of those little problems that you already knew you had. You just hadn't had the time to actually work on.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's also a time to, of course, your doors are shut, so there's no, your revenue is not coming in like it usually is. So it's also the time to, like you said, innovate right now and think outside the box.
Yeah, think outside the box. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. We need to innovate and adapt. And this is something that I actually heard Simon Sinek say. If you guys don't know who Simon Sinek is, you should definitely look him up. Really great business speaker and author. But I was listening to one of his conversations with his team right now. And I got inspired by what he was saying, because one of the things he mentioned was that, I know it feels like unprecedented times right now, but if you really think about, just when you think about it in business in general, right? It's not unprecedented, because here's the thing: businesses have always had to adapt and innovate, and as entrepreneurs, we need to do the same, right? Yeah. And if you really look at other crises in the past, like the dot-com bubble back in 2000, the Great Recession in 2008, 9, 10, and then these are all times in our history where businesses had to innovate and adapt. They had to think outside of the box. They had to be creative so they can I don't want, like, not even, like, I was going to say, like, to come out on top, but not even necessarily, just to come out of it, you know, like, like to survive, right? And then to set themselves up to actually thrive once things got outside of it. Because honestly, guys, like, we have two choices. We can either be reactive to the situation and complain and panic and be negative, right? Shut down. Or we can be proactive, we can be positive, and we can really strive to figure something out so that we can make sure that we survive, and then we set ourselves up in the future so that we can thrive, right? Because like, what else are we gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what other choice do we have? Like, like, even for ourselves, and this is something that every business is going through.
Right.
We're struggling, right? Like, every business is struggling right now. Every person is struggling, and even in ourselves, it's like, Billy and I have had these conversations where, what are we gonna do? Are we just gonna, like, give up? No, because it's just not who we are, right? And there's all these people depending on us, and so we want to make sure that we continue to push forward, and we're gonna figure something out. Because that's the thing, like, when you set your mind to something, naturally, like, you just, I don't know, like, it's just like, it just happens, it just comes, like,
and I'm not gonna downplay, like, this is a big issue, like, and it's something that our generation, or none of the generations alive right now, kind of like have gone through, so it is a big one to solve, but there is something about it that you can do, you can adapt, like, like, I would say, like, when the internet also, like, came on board, and, like, people had to change from, like, mailing stuff to a website, it was, like, a whole new thing, and it was, like, how do we do this? And then social media happened, and wait, what? Now I have to be on social media, and then I have to send emails, and I have to do all these things. And guess what? Like, people did it. And it used to be, like, maybe not as big as this, but, it was a big issue then.
Yeah.
And, businesses had to adapt and had to go into this. So
100%. And, like, and so one of the other things that Simon Sinek was saying that I thought was really great to hear, it's like, I mean, there's natural disasters that happen, or crises that happen throughout our history. But even if you just think about, like, just general business stuff, like, a business always has to adapt and innovate. That's how they are able to stay in business. So if you think about, like, if you go back to our history and think about companies like Netflix and Blockbuster.
Right.
Netflix came in, right, with the new solution, more convenient. It was a better solution overall. What happened? Blockbuster did not innovate, did not adapt, right? And they went out of business.
They laughed at Netflix's face.
They laughed at Netflix's face whenever Netflix tried to actually partner with them.
Yeah. Or Amazon and Toys R Us.
Amazon, Toys R Us is another great example. Uber and the taxi industry. This is
all of these, like also shopping, like Walmart or H-E-B if you're from Texas, like having to do the curbside and order online, like that's their way of adapting to these times.
Yeah, that's like restaurants. Like, restaurants all of a sudden can't have people dining in, but now they've, like, really locked on just delivery and curbside. Yeah. They've had to, part of H-E-B and Walmart doing this because all of a sudden we had Instacart, and we had, all these other, I guess, like, even companies that were just straight up delivering your groceries to your door. Like, we were even using one for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah.
HelloFresh?
HelloFresh.
Yeah, so we used HelloFresh for a while, and it's like, it's like, well, what is Walmart going to do? Are they just going to, like, cry about it and complain? Like, no, like... like, they're going to come up with the solution. And so it's just a part of business, guys. And then, honestly, the most positive way, because yes, it is a horrible situation. There's, a lot of, negative things or bad things that are happening right now. But really, all we can try to do is be positive and try to spin it in a way where we can still try to push forward, because we have no other choice, right? We have to keep pushing forward. We need to adapt, we innovate, think out of the box. We need to be creative. That being said, one of the other things that is just super important when it comes to just, creating a business plan, and especially even if you are like a brick and mortar business, because, a lot of the times you don't have a lot of cash reserves, right? Mm-hmm. Is having these type of contingency plans in place in your business, because here's the thing, like, if you've heard like the conversations or the news about Bill Gates predicting this back in 2015, blah 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 blah, right? Like you'll know that like it's not a matter of if, it's always a matter of when. And right now, as horrible as it is, right, it's a pandemic, but guess what? There will always be something going on, whether it's a hurricane, a tornado, flooding, snow, getting snow, like,
market crash.
Market crash. Like, there will always be something. And we need to have these contingency plans in place to make sure that we can, get ourselves out of it. Like not even necessarily focusing so much on like coming out on top. Like it's literally coming out of it. Like, because right now it's not so much about growing the business, right? It's more about protecting your assets. Like your business is your asset. Your staff is your asset, right? Protecting your assets and positioning yourself so that when you do open, again, or when things start going back to normal in quotation points, Mark, sorry, that you're positioned to make sure that you survive through this, and that you are, then at that point you are able to come out ahead, right?
Right.
And that's just business. That's the, the open market, right? That's just how, things are.
Right. And I would say like, right now maybe it's not taking it to the next level, but taking it to a different level, right?
Yes.
Opening up your communication systems. Like a few years ago, we had to open up email as a communication, and now recently still, I would say maybe within a year, opening up to text messages, like two-way text messages. So now it's just like the next level or the different level. It's opening up that communication with your clients to virtual consultations.
100%. Like us being a virtual company, like we're all about this. Like I remember even Billy had to go to the doctor, and I was telling Billy, I'm like, and it was a trip for us, and I'm like, why do we have to? I was upset. I'm like, why do we have to make this trip? Why can't we just do a video conference call with this doctor? Like, and I was just really upset about it, because one time we actually drove and then she had to cancel on us, and I was very upset about that.
Yes, especially because it was also like a follow-up. So it was something where she was just going to give me my results and kind of just walk through what the process was going to look like. And honestly, like I would still have paid the consult, of course, 100%. But yeah, I totally agree. Like it could have been something where like we could just web,
Yeah, totally. And so there's a lot of great tools out there for virtual consultations, guys. So that's how we were going to say, like, that's like number one, how you should be marketing your business right now. The whole point of having virtual consultations out there, guys, is that people do want, like, they have nothing better else to do. And so having a virtual consultation now, they've always wanted to do these things or learn about these treatments. And now the fact that they're at home doing nothing gives them the opportunity to actually have these virtual consultations with you. Now, you're probably thinking, man, Luis, but like, who's really going to buy? Well, you'd be surprised, right? Number one. But honestly, really what we're advising our clients is that, yes, you should do the virtual consult. You should offer some type of stimulus package offer, okay? And that being said, lock them into this pricing if they give a deposit. That way you can still generate some revenue to cover your overhead till you open again. And then schedule them out for 30 days later. If you're still not open, call them back and then rebook them for 2 weeks out, 4 weeks out, whatever it is that you need to do, depending on what's going on in your specific area, because every area is different.
Right. And you already have a database, right? And I feel like right now everybody had, like, because they're at home, because they're watching the news, like at least every news outlet and media, like they're talking about small businesses, and they have been kind of just saying like, hey, if you do have the means, like help support
your local businesses.
And most people just kind of like think about restaurants, I feel, but you are a local business. And one of the key things that we kind of had in our MedSpa survival guide too is like, hey, you need to communicate to your people what is it that you need, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
100%. Yeah.
You know, like right now, your doors are closed, and we completely understand that part of your services has to be a one-on-one interaction. They have to come for you to be able to inject them, for you to be able to do a facial, for you to be able to do cool sculpting on them. However, that does not mean that you can't provide a service in a different way.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, and we're saying knowledge, like your knowledge in regards to skincare, beauty, health, wellness, whatever it is something that valuable, and you could literally charge for that, you know, like if you wanted to, right? But my second point to that is like, yes, like you can ask for money, you can generate revenue that way. That'll help you generate enough to help cover your overhead. But the flip side to that is that I would say like maybe making a purchase right then and there is not necessarily 100% the goal. You want to have this consultation with them so you can build rapport with them, so you can, you know, position yourself in their minds, right? So that, hey, because yeah, maybe somebody might not buy right now, but guess what? When things start getting back to normal, you already poured into them, you already gave them value. Mm-hmm. And so whenever they are ready to do that treatment, who are they going to do it with? Well, they're going to do it with you, because you actually opened up the door to them and provided them a solution when nobody else was providing solutions, mm-hmm. you know?
Exactly.
And so you're going to be top of mind once they do reopen. And that's what I mean by trying to stay alive right now, right? Trying to survive through this, and then positioning yourself for the next 6 months, right? Because, hey, if you're in business, like, you know, it's not a short-term game. Like, you're in it for the long term, and you need to be doing strategic moves now, right? So that it pays off 6 to 12 to 24 months from now, right? And that's how you should be looking at your business. And that's just marketing, guys. Like, I mean, well, I feel like a lot of people have been spoiled by and obviously we do this. Yes. We provide like for our clients, we provide direct, instant results, right? But to be honest, like that's part of a direct response advertising that we've kind of mastered and we've helped our clients. But the other flip side to that is that the branding aspect to it. Approach. Yeah, an indirect approach, the branding aspect to it. And that's how you can get exponential results, because when you combine branding and like, you know, like inbound marketing concepts with direct response, that's when you can really have exponential results. Yeah. That is like that is amazing. So that being said, like when you focused on branding, it wasn't something that happened overnight. It wasn't instantaneous, right? It's something that you invested heavily in up front. And guess what? You didn't see a return on investment on that. Like, you'd be insane to expect a return on investment on that in the next 30 days. Right. You wouldn't, right? But guess what? Like, you know, 10, 20 years from now, you look at companies like Fortune 500 companies right now, these are staples in our country, right? And these are brands that you know and that you recognize because they put in the work, right?
Every luxurious brand had to take like a really long time, and you can see like from the very beginning how they started as a nobody to, you know, a product that is worth like hundreds and thousands of dollars.
And I have a pretty good case study, like story on this. Like one of our clients, like who's based in Phoenix, like they're, oh my God, like every time I look at their account, because so we use Patient Gem to keep track of our clients' results, right? Mm-hmm. And I literally right before we started recording this video, I was telling Billy, I was like, oh my God, like, and she heard me all like, what's going on? And because I'm like I'm like flipping out over here. And I'm like, oh my God, this client yesterday I looked at their account and they were at 151. And then today, literally right before we started this video, they were at 159. Literally, they made $8,000. And when I say 151, guys, I meant $151,000. And now to like literally 24 hours later, they were at $159,000. And this is the whole blow away aspect to this. In normal circumstances, a business would have had to pay, let's just say a minimum of, like, at least for us, we're always looking at, okay, let's 10x, right? And honestly, 10x is like, it's very hard to achieve. Like, not every business is able to get 10x on their ad spend, right? So, but if we can achieve it, and we, it's possible, and we have done it before, like we're always like, oh my God, this is amazing. We're super excited. We're, above the moon or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so here, like to give you an example, you put in 10 grand, you get out 100 grand, right? So this client like hasn't even put in nowhere near a fraction of 10 grand. We were looking at their account like towards the end of last week, and they've literally spent less than $3,000. I believe it was about $2,900. And as of today, they've been able to convert that into $159,000.
Wow.
How? Honestly, like all we did was add fuel to the fire. Like we came in and we just added fuel to it, and then like literally it just exploded. Why? Because this guy's been in business for for around like 15 years. And he's invested in the community. He's invested in his brand. Like people know who he is, right? So he has all this branding in place that he's, literally put in the work to do, the effort, the groundwork, right? And all we did was come and add gasoline to the fire, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like exponential results. I don't even know what the 10x of that is. Like it is like 50 times X. I don't know. Like it's crazy. Like it's not like, yeah.
It's math that we can't even do.
Yeah, I can't do that right now.
Yeah, no, and definitely. And actually, we do have a coming up episode on branding and what you can do right now to kind of like get that groundwork and get started to that.
100%.
But definitely, exactly like you were saying earlier, it is a killer combo. You have to have a little bit of both. And if right now you can't sell your services,
by the way,
work in your brand.
Yes, no, I'm sorry to cut you off
Yes.
there. I was going to say, by the way, these $159,000 he's generated have literally been done. It's like, I'm not talking about in a year, guys. Like, he hasn't made that in a year. He's literally done that. He's literally done that in 8 weeks. So I'm just like, drop mic. Honestly.
Mic drop.
Mic drop, whatever.
Oh
my gosh. I mean, so I'm just too excited. But it's really amazing to see.
That's a great example of seeing like how it kind of works,
For sure.
Because it does work. It takes time. It takes a lot of work, but it does work.
100%. So going back to how you should be marketing, guys, right? So virtual consultations is definitely how you should be adapting, how you should be innovating right now so that you can start seeing people and start implanting yourselves in their minds, right? And so that you can position yourself for in the future so that when they are ready to buy, they buy from you specifically. So that's number one. Right. The second one, you kind of already heard us mention it when we talked about stimulus packages. Mm-hmm. You want to just be putting together stimulus packages and trying to get people to support you as a local business, right? In one of our other episodes, we said that you can be advertising, you can be marketing, but you have to do it in a tasteful way and not obviously necessarily trying to, some tact to it. Because like you want to be seen in a positive light, not in a negative light where some people, if you are trying to sell right now, even though honestly I would say it's ridiculous, I feel
like there is a wrong way to go about it.
No, there's a wrong way to go about it. But I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, it's like you can't be upset for people trying to sell something. Like obviously, this is how the economy works, right? Like we have to keep stimulating the economy. So that's what we're calling these stimulus offers, right? And so at the end of the day, right now, it's like you should be focusing on protecting your assets and then pushing forward, offering these stimulus packages so that you can try to generate some revenue now, cover your overhead. Yeah, so anyway, guys, really, number one, adapt, innovate. The easiest way you can do that right now is by starting to offer virtual consultations and start working on a good process that works for you. Honestly, some softwares right off the bat, Doxy, like DOXY.me, is a really great tool that you can be using right now for virtual consultations, built for healthcare, and so it's HIPAA compliant, all that good stuff.
It's really easy to use.
And it's really easy to use.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free. And the benefit to it is that your clients or patients don't need to download an application to use it, which is the biggest benefit. Alternatively, honestly, there's no reason why you shouldn't use Doxy, but if for whatever reason you don't, Zoom was another good one. I know recently they had some issues, but I think they've taken care of those already.
Yeah. I actually got an email about it today.
Yeah. You can use FaceTime, you can use Facebook Messenger, all that stuff, but those are always kind of, dependent on if people have the software. That's why we really like Doxy, because it doesn't matter what platform or what device those people are coming from. All they have to do is click a link, and that's it. Yeah. You can do a video conference call. Yeah. And then second to that, offer stimulus packages. I remember what I was going to say now. Basically, don't really personally for me, like, don't even focus on being 100, like, being profitable right now. Like I said before, you want to focus in on breaking even, covering your overhead. That being said, what is the best offer that you can give out right now? Like, literally, like, what, like, I mean, 50% off, 75% off. I mean, honestly, like, whatever it is that you need to do so that you can generate some revenue and, like I said, cover your overhead, because it's a matter of survival at this point. Obviously, depending on who you are as a business, depending on how much cash you have, you can do certain, like, just do whatever makes sense for you, right? That's what, that's all I'm trying to say. But, like, at the end of the day,
don't be afraid of doing a bigger discount to
get cash flow, because again, that's really all, like, money is better than no money, right? Some money is better than no money. So so hopefully you guys found this useful and insightful, and we will catch you all on the next video. Just don't forget to like, share, and join us on our Facebook group, and download our MedSpa survival guide.
Oh yes.
Bye.